Welcome to the Fantasy Draft Room. I am Chase. With me, as always, my man Cody. And this is our week 5 sits of the week where we go head to head and try to have the worst possible score. So, Cody, what happened this past week here?
Obviously, I failed pretty mightily at having the worst possible score. I'd done it in the first 2 weeks, from week 2 to week 3. Did not do it week 4. It was pretty bad for me. Anthony Richardson, Derrick Henry, and CeeDee Lamb all scoring multiple touchdowns within their game. CeeDee Lamb only scoring one, but it was not a good week for me. You had a much better week. If you sat anybody that Chase sat outside of maybe Lamar Jackson, think you actually probably made the right decision. So hopefully you were listening to him last week on both the sits and the starts, because I did not have a good week, but hopefully we'll redeem that in today's show.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, both of our quarterbacks went off. Again, when you're picking within the top 12 of quarterback and tight end, and within the top 24 of
Difficult.
running back, it's hard. It's really hard. So, again, you're taking good players that you're predicting to have clunkers, and unfortunately, Derrick Henry did smash for you. Really happy for all my fantasy teams that he did smash because I needed that. But yeah, man, we both had some relatively close to single digit numbers. Madison had his just over 10. CeeDee Lamb again was saved by a touchdown. So, those types of things happen. I didn't have a single person score a touchdown outside of my quarterback position. So that, is super helpful. And Chris Olave, again, being the clunker that he is, going back to his wide receiver 2 status.
If you
Happy
had
to see
Jim,
it.
if you had Jimmy Dubs back there at
Nope.
quarterback,
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
nope. If you had Jameis Winston back there at quarterback, he would have gone for 202 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. He's still dreaming. All right, no, so this kind of wraps things up again. We want to get the lowest score here, predicting good players to bench if you have available options. So Cody, I believe you get to pick first this week. So do your thing. Who you got at the quarterback position?
They're going to give it to us, man. And unfortunately, I don't like to do this. I think it could turn this week potentially, but you're going to give me Joe Burrow right now inside of the top 12, and I've got to take Joe Burrow because it just looks bad. He knows it's bad. He's obviously playing with it as well. He's talked about it. He's just like, look, I just don't feel right now. I can't play right inside of the pocket. And so it's Joe Burrow. It's unfortunate, but right now he is not a top 12 quarterback. So if he's still ranked inside of the top 12, I have to pick him to be outside of it after this week.
Yeah, no, and he was my number one as well. Again, we're not picking Thursday night games, so I would have picked Justin Fields here as my alternate. So I do have a tough decision, but Joe Burrow again, I want to see him healthy before we make any true decisions about what's going on, and I don't think that's this week. So, yeah, love that sit. My sit of the week here, then, since I can't pick me some Justin Fields, I am going to take one CJ Stroud. And I know this isn't going to be popular. He did really, really well last week against Pittsburgh. Again, he had just over a 50% completion percentage, but he did have 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has not turned the ball over, which has been huge for not only his fantasy production, but his just team in general. If you turn the ball over as a rookie, which is pretty standard, you tend to lose more games. But he's kept them competitive in their games, and he has looked good. So I don't love making this pick, but Atlanta plays some really good defense. That has been an overachieving defense for most expectations this year. So I do feel like this could be a tough game, and with AJ Terrell, hopefully potentially locking down Nico Collins, could make this one a very tough passing game.
I actually agreed with you on this one. He would have been my second pick because he is playing the Falcons.
Yeah.
This seems to be a pretty low scoring matchup. Obviously, CJ Stroud has been throwing, I think, for over like 300 passing yards per game that he's played within the NFL. I don't expect that to happen here. I expect him to fall back down to the earth a little bit here in this matchup because it is going to be a grinded out, pounded out game, in my opinion. So I would have picked CJ Stroud. If I couldn't have picked Burrow first, it would have been CJ Stroud next. So I fully agree with that one. And then I'm going to go into another one where I do believe the matchup doesn't favor the running back as much whenever we're going into our next two running back picks outside or inside of the top 24, outside of the top 24 for our starts of the week. And that is going to be for me, Isaiah Pacheco is going to be my first sit of the week. And that is going against the Minnesota Vikings offense for this Kansas City offense. I do believe that they're just going to air the ball out in this matchup. It's going to be a game where they throw for, combined like 700 yards, but there's only like 100 on the ground between all of these two teams. So I'm going to go with Isaiah Pacheco as my sit of the week.
Ooh, I did not have that one at all, of the 3 big ones that I wanted to pick on, so really happy. So now I know I'm gonna get 2 of my 3 for sure. So I don't know that I love that one. I don't know that I do. I think Pacheco is going to be involved quite a bit in this game, and Minnesota defense is just not it. So I am going to go with my number one sit of the week, and this is a little more obvious one. He's a little bit lower. You know, he's ranked 20th this week, but I am going to go with Ramondre Stevenson, and that offense has just not been it. I've had such high hopes for Ramondre coming into this season, both in the running game and in the pass catching game. I mean, he's had 2 receptions, 1 reception, 3 receptions the past 3 weeks, so he's had 6 combined catches, which is just not what you want to see from him. He has gotten double digit carries, which is nice, but what he's doing with them is 2.1, 3.1, 3.3, 2.1 yards a carry. Like, it is just not good. And so that's definitely needs to improve. And to really just add the icing on the cake here, when you have basically have him going up against New Orleans, who's played really good defense. It's a recipe for disaster, man. Just
He
don't love
was
it.
he was the 4th on my list. He
Oh,
definitely would have made
cool.
the list if I hadn't picked Isaiah Pacheco first. Might have been the wrong order to pick him there, so we'll see if that goes forward. However, I am going to pick the guy who, honestly, I don't agree with him all being in the top 24 running backs as I bring up that board for y'all. But it is a guy who has not even played a game this entire year. Why is Jonathan Taylor inside of the top 24 running backs on his first week back whenever we have no idea what he's going to be against one of the best rush defenses in the league? Like, I don't understand why this is the case for Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, I would love for him to come back in a better spot. But if you're going to tell me that he's playing against the Tennessee Titans defense, which is one of the best rush defenses in the league, on his first game back, coming off the pup with a potentially better running back, not going to say that that's actually a better running back in Zach Moss,
Yeah,
but he
right.
served very well as a running back 1 for this offense. And you've got Anthony Richardson in this offense as well, who can serve as a power running back. I don't see why this is a good spot for Jonathan Taylor to come back in his first week. Obviously, if he doesn't start, I'll have to pick a new one. If it does,
Yeah.
I'll pick a different one if he doesn't start. I do think he starts this week, though, or at least plays this week. And for that reason, if ESPN is going to rank him inside the top 24, I can't pass up on Jonathan Taylor.
So I'm gonna pick my guy, and then I want you to pick your replacement because I'm not 100% sold that JT is actually going to start this week. He might be
I
ready to
understand.
go. So I just want to get my chance to take my pick here, and then you can take your guy. So I do like that one. Like, if JT plays, like, that's definitely one. I think Zach Moss is going to get one more week with that kind of run, and just let him do his thing. So I think that this would be more of a just Zach Moss week, even if he is active. So I do like that pick. Now you leave me with a tough one because I figured you were gonna go a little bit different route here, and I'm gonna go with a kind of a spicier one now since I did choose one outside the top 12. I am going to choose one within the top 12 here, and I'm actually gonna go with Travis Etienne going up against Buffalo. And I don't know, man. Like, it's probably my own personal reasons, but I know he's gotten 20. He got 20 carries last week, 19 the week before. He had 55 yards against that Atlanta defense, and Atlanta does play very, very well, or stout run D. And then he hasn't been super involved in the pass catching game. Only 3 catches last week, 4 the week before, and then 2. It's like, I just don't know that the receiving is going to be there. The touchdowns are going to be there for him this week, going up against a tough Buffalo Bills defense. They're the number 2 scoring defense in the NFL, and they were able to hold Miami's potent offense in check. the Jaguars are struggling. They haven't looked great, as far as their offense goes. It's been kind of like spotty this season. So unless they have a standout performance against the Bills, I think the Bills hold ETN in check.
I didn't have him on my list, but he was on a shorter list. If guys that I would have picked, you didn't pick my guy though. If Jonathan Taylor doesn't play, I will replace him with Alexander Madison.
That's fine.
Obviously, a inefficient running back against a very very good Kansas City Chiefs defense. Don't think he can go wrong there with benching Alexander Madison this week either.
Yep. No, I'm fine with that one as well. So that'll handle our backup running back option for you. What do you got for your wide receiver one that you are having as your sit of the week?
The issue here is just which one do I want to go with first? Which one do I think that you could pick first? And honestly, I don't even know if I'm just going to go with your wide receiver sit of the week. I think I'm just going to go with my wide receiver sit of the week. I'm
Okay.
just going to go with I'm a good dynasty analyst. I'm good with picking the week that he's going to fail. And for me, I just traded away a receiver in Dynasty, and that is Nico Collins. And Nico Collins right now is inside of the top 24. He is the wide receiver 18 for Houston against the Atlanta Falcons offense. And if we were going to pick CJ Stroud on your side, I'll take Nico Collins on the other.
That's weak. Weak. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely picked it out. Called it out earlier when I was talking about Stroud. Like, I do think that AJ Terrell is going to be shadowing Nico Collins for the most part, and so they're going to make sure that he is not the one that beats them. So, yeah, I like that pick quite a bit. I'm going to get a little bit spicier. I'm going to go with someone within the top 12 and someone that I just love to abuse on this show. We are going to go back to the well. We are going
Back
to
with
pick
Garrett Wilson.
go back to Chris Olave and put Chris Olave on our sits of the week again. And again, he is going to disappoint. So, yes, I am writing that Chris Olave down going against the New England Patriots. Yes, absolutely believe Chris Olave is going to have himself a back to back clunker, and everyone in Dynasty is going to be panicking about what to do with the number 3 wide receiver, number 4 wide receiver in Dynasty. You hate me. I know you do. Like you can't stand me right now. You're like, if I could end the show, I would.
It's amazing how much you're just wrong at all times on this show. It
Hey,
is
who
truly
who
amazing.
won? Who won this past week? And what was Chris Olave's stat
I
line?
mean,
Who benched him?
if Jimmy Dubs would have played,
But did he? Is he playing this
he
week?
he did not. I will give you credit. I will give you credit for somehow determining that Derek Carr would start off of an AC sprain in 1 week. I will
That
give
doesn't
you credit for that.
wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have
I
mattered. I
will
picked
give you
him
credit for
knowing that
that.
that injury is there. And again, we know who's playing this week. Derek Carr is playing this week. He's going to do it again. What do you
It's
think's going to happen?
it's
Sit
unfortunate.
Chris Olave this week if you have options, of course. If you got options, let's not go crazy here. But like
Yeah,
if you have
if you
options,
have options inside of the top 24. But the next one that we need to get to, because I will go on a fun tangent if we don't get to the next one. I'm between a couple of guys here, and I'm gonna lean into it because I don't know what the status is again of the quarterback that is going to be playing for him, and I'm gonna go with George Pickens. He's playing against the 17th best 17th best defense against wide receivers in fantasy, but this is more of a pick where I just don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be in front of him. George Pickens is going to be my sit of the week inside of the top 24.
weak sauce. Weak sauce, choosing an 18 and the number 24 guy. Like I was gonna take George Pickens. So like I'm a little bitter. I was hoping I could have my spicy pick of Olave and then catch George Pickens on
You,
the
you
back
wanted the
end.
best of both worlds there, didn't
I
you?
did. I tried for it. It's worked before. It did not work this week. So, you did crush my dream here. So I am in a scramble, but I do got one in mind here of who I think is going to get shut down this week. And so I am going to roll with my sit of the week, And I'm debating between which one. Like the struggle is which one. But I think I'm just going to bench Debo Samuel. I'm actually going to go number 11 and number 12 on this list. And that Dallas defense is for real. Like they are for real. And they're going to shut one of them down, whether that's Brandon Ayuk or Debo Samuel. So one of them is not going to have a good game. So that's kind of what I'm banking on here. I know Gilmore's still out there, so like I think Gilmore might be on Ayuk. It's just that's a tough one. I don't know how they're going to play it as a defense. That's why I do think one of those guys is going to be the one, and I'm going to take my bet on Debo.
If I had to give my like close guys of the week, it would be Jalen Waddle and Adam Thielen were the two that I had on my list that did not get picked for this sit of the week episode.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But
But as I pull up the tight end sits of the week, looking to make sure that my guys are actually in here. And this one, like, I don't care. I lost last week miserably. It's not looking good for me. I need to come. I need to make a little bit of a comeback. I'm going to play the game here, but the fact that you have Hunter Henry as the tight end 12 on the week, there ain't no way that I am passing up Hunter Henry against the defense that is giving up the fourth least fantasy points to tight end in the league. There's no way that I can pass up on Hunter Henry against the New Orleans Saints defense. I got to put this one in here, man. There ain't no way I'm going to give you that one.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna go hot takes here because like I wasn't gonna go bottom of the barrel this week. I got some spicy names on this list. Like
I
some
do have
I bet
one
you
other one that I hate as well, but you've
I
already got another piece on that offense. Do you think this offense is just going to score like 3 points this week?
man, I'm sitting Darren Waller, homie. I'm putting
Oh,
Dar- I'm just taking Darren Waller, man. That offense ain't it. I mean, Darren Waller, we had such high hopes. Not everyone in the fantasy community had such high hopes for what Darren Waller could be in this offense, and that line is beat up. No Saquon, no other pass catching options. It is not looking good for that team. So, like when you really break it down and like look at his numbers, man, 3 targets last week, 7 the week before with only 3 catches. Like he's gotten like 7 to 8 targets, and if he can convert those, sure. Like he had a 6 for 76 game, but there's not going to be the touchdown upside. Like it's not going to be there. So I'm going to take the shot on Darren Waller here. I guarantee you, if you look at this team here, you got Stroud, Ramondre, ETN, Darren Waller. I guarantee you, someone has a starting lineup like this out there with Olave and Debo in there. Like someone's starting these guys out there. All
it's it's pretty unfortunate. I mean, obviously, people are trying to start Joe Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, whenever he's on his comeback.
yeah.
Pacheco, Nico, George Pickens, and Hunter Henry probably aren't the guys that you were really thinking about starting, but
But here's
you are taking guys that, man, it does not look pretty. Outside of CJ Stroud, he's really probably the one that you're probably the most scared about out of all of this team.
Yeah, I mean, when I like, even when I look at yours, though, like I'm a little worried about some of these picks, but man, like Nico Collins, like people are cramming him into their lineups. Like he's played too well for him to sit. Like you got to start
Yep.
Nico right now. Like flex options, like people are just like looking at it, like yeah, but you have to understand the matchup. And like in all honesty, if you do have other matchups other than Nico, like take them. Like I'd find somebody else other than Nico right now. I do like the Hunter Henry one. That was actually a good pick too. I was looking at him like, man, um, yeah, dude. I think this is going to be a tough week, but I think we got some good names on this board here. So yeah, let us know what you think down below. What are your thoughts on this before we wrap out?
Yeah, if you have any questions about any of your start sits throughout this weekend, obviously drop them down in the comments. If you can't reach out to us there for some reason, doesn't really make sense. But if you can't, reach out to us on X app at Trophy Chase TFDR at Cody Smith TFDR, or if you are in the Destination Devi Discord, you can always reach out to us there at that beautiful logo that man is wearing right there. I am at the Fantasy Draft Room on Discord. I don't know what that man is. Plug that one. Wrap us on out of here.
I'm at Trophy Chase on Discord. Keep it easy. And so, yeah, again, make sure you do like this video. Comment down below. Let us know those start sit questions. Let us know how crazy you think we are, or what your predictions are as well. And make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a ton. We're almost to 500. We want to get to that 1,000. We want to hit that number. We want to hit that 1K number. So let's get us there. So subscribe, and thank you so much for joining us here in the Fantasy Draft Room.